Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Carolina Conversation. I'm your host, Shammond Williams, and I have my producer with me, JK, in the studio, and we're going to have us a little Q&A today before we bring on Caleb Love. JK, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. And for those who don't know, JK is a student at the University of North Carolina, but he's also a producer for the Field of 68 Network, but he's also the producer of the Carolina Conversation. So let's give JK a hand, ladies and gentlemen, for wearing so many hats. All right, lucky, JK, man. So what you got for me, man? What you got for me?
So, you know how it is, man. You go to the school, Carolina family, huge thing. We love our basketball.
No question.
Season coming up, and we got new coach in the house, Hubert Davis. And something a little different, like Roy, he didn't really do transfers. North Carolina never really had transfers. So how are you looking into this season? We got 3 kind of stud transfers coming in. Like, does that excite you, or is it kind of like I played back in the day, like it kind of ruins the culture type thing?
Well, I would say this. When you speak about transfers, before these young men here, I'm not going to say just before these young men, I would say in my era, or the era that I played under, which is Coach Smith, he only had 2 transfers, if I'm not mistaken. That would be Bob McAdoo and my teammate, my close friend, and my brother, Mac Tarjah. You know what I mean? So, there wasn't many transfers at the University of North Carolina under Coach Smith. But I'm glad that he did choose to have a few transfers, because one of them ended up being, like I said, my brother and my teammate, but a selfless individual that allowed us to win a lot of great basketball games. A lot of times people don't recognize the sacrifice that Mactar made for our basketball team, but nor do they recognize like the impact. And, he was our defensive, he was our guy. He solidified the defense, and we love him. Great character. He works for the New York Knicks now. I mean, he's a great evaluator of talent, and we're very happy to have had Mactar. When it comes to Hubert and him having his transfers, I'm okay. I'm okay with it personally, because I feel like that's what he felt like he needed. And if he needs it, and he's the leader of the program, then I think that he should get the things that he needs to be successful. And so, he went out and got some talented transfers. I think that they're going to play an intricate role in what he wants to do as the head coach. And I'm supportive of, I think he's found the people that he identified that would benefit what he's trying to do as a head coach. So I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, this is Hubert's era. His era is beginning, and I want him to have as much success that he possibly can have. So I'm looking forward to it. Make a long story short, I'm looking forward to it.
And, outside of the transfers, obviously, like, there is some serious stud talent that's returning back for second year, senior year, all different scenarios. What, with Caleb Love, for example, him being the guest today, what are you looking forward to seeing him improve on the most? What is that next step that you're like, I can't wait to see Caleb Love take that leap this year?
I'm looking for him to be a much more consistent shooter from the perimeter. I would like to see that growth in him. I think he's extremely talented. I think he's a high caliber athlete. I think he possesses the inner being that it takes to compete at a high level. I think he has all those components as a student athlete. And so, if I were nitpicking and wanted him to add something, I think it would be a consistent shot. from 15 feet and from the 3-point line. Because once you're able to do those things, you extend the defense and you make people have to play you beyond the lane. And because he is such a high caliber athlete and he has the ability to get downhill, I think that will help his game progress a great deal. Being able to stretch the defense, but also being able to put pressure on the defense with his ability to attack. He's capable of doing that now without, being that, consistent from the perimeter. And so just imagine when he becomes that consistent, it's going to be a bad day for a lot of defenders. And so if I were to say anything, I would like to see him become more of a consistent shooter from the perimeter, which will open up his game even more.
And, the last thing really is like Caleb, there's no doubt he can score the basketball at an extremely high level. So looking at the guards that are currently in the program, and just as much as anyone as a former player, like if you want to make that deep tournament run, if you want to perform in the ACC, having two big time guys in the backcourt is a huge thing. So which of the guys do you think is going to be that perfect complement to Caleb Love and really just send them over the top?
I would say RJ Davis. I think RJ Davis showed a lot of poise last year coming off the bench and getting in those games and making things happen and having an impact on the game. Because he can score from 3 levels, he could actually make the game a little easier for Caleb, because Caleb can get downhill and get in the lane. And so sometimes you need those individuals to stretch the floor. And so if you have a Curry walking on one side and then you have an RJ Davis on another side, that really opens up the floor for you to be able to create for yourself and others. As well as RJ Davis is a great compliment, in my opinion, because he's able to handle the basketball as well. You can put RJ Davis on the point and allow him to run the team and run actions for Caleb, which will allow him to use his scoring prowess a little bit more as well. I think that, if it mattered to me, and like your question asked, who I think would be the perfect complement, I think RJ Davis is a great compliment to him. But, we also have some other great guards. Our freshmen are really good. A lot of people, you may not get to see them as much as they would want you to see them, but having an opportunity to play with them this summer and play against them and see what they brought to the table. Our freshmen are really some capable and talented players as well. So we're we're looking forward to a great season, and we're looking forward to having Caleb here on the Carolina Conversation in a few minutes.
Absolutely. And, as a student, I'm looking forward to actually being able to be back in the stands this year, supporting the guys. And I really think we're in for a successful season. That's all I got, man. I appreciate you answering my questions.
Well, thank you, JK. I appreciate those questions. And for our listeners, we have Caleb Love coming with us just in a few seconds. Thank you.
Before we move on, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up for BetRivers yet, now is the time, because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, it's more secure, and it's more reliable. Now that basketball season is tipping off, get in on the action at betrivers.com today, or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. You must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And while I got you here, let's talk about the Field of 68 Media Network, where college basketball matters most all year round. This is a digital media and podcast network that we've been building over the course of the last year. We have shows hosted by some of your favorite players covering the program that they love the most. AJ Guyton hosts the House of Hoosier. Eric Devendorf covers Syracuse on the scorer's table. Dan Dickow hosts the Gonzaga Bulldog broadcast. We have Florida's Patrick Young and Duke's Andre Dawkins, and North Carolina's Shammond Williams, and Michigan's Stu Douglas, and Illinois' Deion Thomas. The list goes on and on and on. We have more than 30 shows right now. So hit the links below and check them all out. And while you're at it, make sure that you go check out the Field of 12 Media Network, your home for college football.
And today we have one of UNC's finest, young fella in the making, great basketball player, but more importantly, he's a great individual. He hails from St. Louis, Missouri. He's a McDonald's All-American, but none other than your UNC starting point guard, Caleb Love.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's happening with you?
Not much, man. Chilling.
Good. Well, thank you for being with the Carolina Conversation. This is where we get to talk about you and your experience. So, first and foremost, what made you come to the University of North Carolina?
Just the family culture, and I felt like it was just the best fit for me. Roy Williams and the whole coaching staff just brought me in as just a family, and then the team that was there, Garrison Brooks, Brandon Robinson that was there, Cole Anthony, they all just brought me in, and I felt like it was a family. So it was a no-brainer that I came here.
Well, good. Had you always been a UNC fan or wanted to go to the University of North Carolina, or just the environment?
Yeah, UNC was always at the top of my list. Always.
Good. Well, being one of the, St. Louis is a great hotbed for basketball players. When I was coming through, smooth, Larry Hughes was the guy coming out of St. Louis. So being a part of that St. Louis pipeline, how did you feel about, being another McDonald's All-American, then choosing to come to University of North Carolina? Was there any pressure you felt like having to perform just to live up to the St. Louis lineage?
Nah, I didn't feel like it was no pressure. I just felt like it was just another opportunity. St. Louis is big on basketball, and, we got Larry Hughes, like you said, Jason Tatum, Brad Beal, all those guys, David Lee. You got so many guys that come out of there and have success. I just felt like I was next up.
Good. Mm-hmm. Now, coming to the University of North Carolina, making that choice, how was it when you first arrived at campus?
It was different, because of COVID. It was different. We came in. I had to stay in a hotel. It wasn't my ideal situation, but we got through it. Yeah.
Now, being a former player myself, I know how hard it is to just adapt to the UNC environment. And so having the COVID, you didn't have an opportunity for us as former players to come around, former pros to come around as much. And then going into the season, being that starting point guard, how was that feeling being named the starting point guard at the University of North Carolina?
It felt good, and it just goes to show my work and that coach believed in me to put me in that position, and I just took it on as a blessing, and I just I did as best as I could.
Yeah. I thought you did a good job. I think the hardest thing for some of us, usually in the past, UNC point guards, they were pretty much distributors, run the organization and things like that. I think I was probably one of some that actually scored the basketball. So,
Right.
The toughest thing for us is knowing when to run the team and when to score the ball. You know what I mean? So how was that adjustment, as a freshman? I didn't get that adjustment as a freshman. I didn't get to learn that till my sophomore, junior year. But for you as a freshman, how was that adjustment?
It was difficult at first. I felt like as the season went along, I got better at it. Just watching a lot of film and then watching a lot of you guys and stuff like that. And so I just felt like I adapted to it along the way.
Yeah, I give you a little thing that Coach Smith told me. He said, Shammond, when you push, he said, if they miss the shot, when you get if the ball's out there to you, transition, that's the time to look to score. If they score the ball, get us in the offense. If it comes back to you, then that meant nobody else could do anything with it. So that helped me out a great deal with that. And, it really advanced, my growth in the game. And so going into your freshman year, playing your freshman, starting as a freshman, going through that ACC, going through the conference, how was that, man? Like so many games, tough games, wearing that UNC across your chest. How was that for you?
Like I said before, it was a blessing. Just being able to be in that position and go through that experience at that high level. And playing in the ACC is no off games, so
Right.
you always gonna get everybody's best.
No question.
So yeah, so I felt like that was good for me, and just knowing that I can compete with those type of guys, those older guys, it felt good.
Yeah. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about your first Carolina Duke experience. Now, I'd be remiss, and I can't say, hey, that young man there showed up. I
Yes,
mean, he
sir.
showed up. So
Yes, sir.
explain to us and that feeling of playing in that UNC Duke game for you. How was
Uh,
that?
It was just, all the hype about it. Growing up as a kid, you watching those games, you want to be in those type of moments. And just to say that I played in that moment, it just felt good. And going into the game, my adrenaline flowing,
All right.
not knowing what to expect. But you just going out there really just playing, trying to play your best. Usually, the fans would be there, but it wasn't no fan, but it felt like it was fans in there because of how the anticipation of the game and even though we weren't as good as in the past, but like still around the anticipation of the game and the history of the game, it just I played my heart out and you see the results.
Oh yeah, ain't no question about it. You most definitely, did us as alums and big bros, man. We really appreciate the effort that you put in, not just in that game, but the whole season. And
Mm-hmm.
so, having a great freshman season and having the expectation of leading the program as a freshman and finishing your freshman year, you had some decisions to make. You and your family had some decisions to make. So can you walk us through the decision-making process of either leaving and putting your name in the NBA draft or coming back for an extra year to build on your freshman experience?
Yeah, I felt like just talking to my parents, we kind of knew that we was gonna come back to school because we just felt like we didn't do enough as far as like producing at a high level as far as like my shooting percentages and my turnovers. So I felt like I wasn't playing I wasn't at my highest level. I felt like I could do a lot better. So just getting in the lab, that was basically our mindset the whole summer. Just we got to get back in the lab. I was working with Drew Hanlon this summer, so it was just a lot of those things that went into it. And then once Coach Davis got the job, it was a no-brainer that I was coming back.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Then getting the news that Coach Williams was going to step away
Mhm.
from coaching, and Coach Davis was going to become the head coach. How was that those days hearing that Coach Williams was going to step away before Hubert being named the head coach? How was that those days for you?
It was unexpected because I thought at first it was a joke because he did it on April Fools, so I thought it was
Right.
a joke. But when he got like real serious and his voice changed, I was like, dang, it might be real. So we just went right back to the drawing board, just trying to see who was going to be the next coach, and then seeing if he was a good fit for me. And once Coach Davis got the job, like I said, it was a no brainer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so there it is. Coach Davis is the head coach now, and you've had some months underneath his leadership. How's that been for you?
It's been great. It's been a smooth transition because me
Right.
and Coach Davis always had a tight relationship, even last year, and in the recruiting process. So, like when we going through practices, when I go up to his office and talk to him, it's all smooth. He keeps it real with me. He's a straight shooter, just like Roy. So I just appreciate him for that and appreciate him stepping into this role and trying to lead us to a championship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, with that being said, give us your opinion of this year's team. What's Caleb Love's thought process about this UNC basketball team?
First and foremost, we deep. So, like we really got a lot of guys that can really go and get it. In so many different ways as far as defense, offense. We got so many different pieces, and I feel like this year we can really do something special.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got so many pieces, and then the offense is going to be so much more spacing. And you got Brady Manick that can shoot the lights out, stretch the floor. And you got Dawson who can take bigs off the dribble and Mondo he's working on his shot. So just a lot of guys that we got. Justin McCoy, he's a dog on both ends. So we just got so many guys that can do so much on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, having these new guys and having the freshmen come in and having some transfers, and for your position and who you are on the team and what you mean to the team, how is it, your leadership role? How are you adapting to that and adapting to the new players?
I feel like with that year under my belt, I feel like I got enough experience that I know a lot more than I did last year, and I know that I can say more things than I did last year. So I feel like it's just a better transition for them, and I feel like they respect me enough and they respect my work enough that they'll listen to me. So just me being more vocal and me knowing the game and just talking to them, because you got to talk to different teammates different ways. Some teammates can't take you yelling at them or something like that. So just knowing my teammates and knowing when to get them going and stuff like that. So like I said, I just got more mature and more knowledge on the game. So I feel like that they respect me enough to be their leader.
That's right. And so, one thing that I wanted to ask in closing, when your career is done at the University of North Carolina and you've decided to move on, you're on to your next profession, opportunity, what do you want the University of North Carolina family, the alums, the fans, what do you want them to know about Caleb Love? What would you think you would like for them to know about you?
I want them to know that I'm a great basketball player, but more I'm a great person. Like if you really get to know me, I'm a great person off the court, and that I really like helping others. And then on the court, I just want them to know that I put so much work into trying to win us a championship. Not just for me, but for this team, for my coaches, for the Carolina family, for the fans, all that. So I just want them to know that I'm a hard worker and I'm a genuine person.
Mm-hmm. No question. And I'd like to tell you this, for me, I thought you've done a great job thus far. And I know you're going to, do even greater things. And a lot of times, a lot is placed upon your shoulders, but you're more than capable of carrying that weight. Understand that this process is not a sprint. Mm-hmm. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
And it's not who gets there the fastest, it's who stays the longest. Yeah. And, the one thing that I do appreciate about you is like the way that you compete, your ability to lock in and the things that you do that go unnoticed a lot of times. Because you are a special basketball player, a lot of responsibilities placed upon your shoulder, but I think you do a great job. And I think you're going to do even a greater job this season. And you've been phenomenal. Just continue to work, continue to lead your team, and continue to be a Caleb Love. And that's more than enough. Yes, what I mean? That's more than enough. Yes, but on a funny note, now I will tell you, like I told Mondo, and when we come back in the summertime, y'all gotta pick that stuff up. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta,
yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. I gotta get my rematch.
Hey, the greatest part about this, Caleb, is God permitting in 20 years, when you're coming back and playing with the guys that are there, you're gonna be saying the same thing and doing the same thing. This is what make us who we are. Yep. You know what I mean? Sure. And that teaching is what helps us become those pros and become those players. And we're really extremely proud of you. And we're looking forward to the things that you're going to do for this team this season. I know you got to get to weights. So we appreciate you being a part of the Carolina conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's give a warm welcome and thank you to Caleb Love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you go and take care of business, man. And God permit, man, be able to check you guys out on the 9th. But like I always tell you, if you need something, you need to rap with somebody, man, I'm always here for you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. You be easy.
All right.
Where Carolina fans, family, and alums, I want to thank JK, but I also want to thank Caleb Love for participating in the Carolina conversation today. And like I always say, when you have time and you're not supporting the UNC Heels, make sure you tune in to the Old Dominion women's basketball team led by Delisha Benton-Jones, a two-time Olympian and world champion, and my head coach. Please support the women as we're looking forward to having a great season as well. We thank you for participating and listening to the Carolina conversation. Good night.